Welcome back, Truth Seeker. This past weekend, there was a riot, as they reported it, in Atlanta, and the damage was done, or the damage that was done was blamed on Antifa protesters, most of which came from out of state. And the reason for the protest was the killing 3 days earlier on January 18th of a protester who was protesting the cutting down of 85 acres of land to build what they're calling cop land, a police training facility. We actually talked about this back in September when this was buzzing news, that they were going to cut down 85 acres of land along Interstate 85 for a massive police training facility. And as we mentioned then, if you know Gematria, 85 stands out. Not only is Interstate 85 running through Atlanta, but in Gematria, Atlanta, Georgia equals 85. So does police department. So does the Jesuit motto, "Y Su Salvatum Salvator." Well, here we are now in January, months later. And again, a protester named Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran reportedly killed for protesting the facility, leading to these riots. And again, they're being blamed on Antifa, and we know what Antifa is. Antifa is the federal government. That's why city police are told to stand down to Antifa. Again, I have police in Seattle on camera explaining this, that they've been directed by the city council, that they're not to touch Antifa. They're just allowed, told to allow these thugs to go around and harass the people of the city and the business owners. And again, if you haven't been to Portland or Seattle in recent times, it's all boarded up because of Antifa, which the police aren't allowed to touch because, again, it's a federal agenda. And how do the feds operate? By the numbers every single day, staging rituals that bring about narratives and storylines that I guess people are just meant to nod their heads to and say, oh, well, that's why this is happening. Oh, that's why my city's in boards. But anyway, just look how perfect it is, you guys. And it's not the first time we've been talking about Atlanta in 85. Another thing that equals 85 is National Football League. R.I.P. We predicted John Madden would die at 85 years before he did. But remember what happened after the Falcons gave up the 25-point comeback on 2/5 when Falcons equals 25? Remember what happened when the Falcons gave up the 25-point lead in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady and one of his scripted outcomes? By the numbers, Interstate 85 burned down in Atlanta, and they blamed it on a crackhead, a story that made absolutely zero sense. A crack pipe burned down the interstate, I'm sure. But again, how perfect is it, you guys? Is there even a Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran? Does this person even exist? And again, for the person who says, well, of course he exists. Haven't you seen his photos in the media? Yeah, I have. Have you seen when CNN out of Atlanta, Georgia advertised the website thispersondoesnotexist.com? Yeah, you see that girl right there? She looks real, but the thing is she's not. She's a digital image. How about this lady right here? Looks pretty real. And CNN's story when they were showing this website was, how do you know what's real on the internet these days with websites like this? And I thought, is CNN trying to tell us something? Because they always have all these nice faces after these supposed shootings that there's no evidence of ever took place. Remember the one in California on January 17th where they said, we warn you before we show you these graphic images of the mass shooting in the bar, which just happened to be populated by people who survived the Las Vegas shooting. And then they cut to the camera, and it's an empty bar scene, literally completely empty, not one person in the room, with like a disco ball going. And then you hear like supposed gunshots, and then people going, oh my God, ah! And then they come back from that, and Jake Tapper's, sorry if that disturbed you. It's like, the only thing that disturbed me about that is how dumb you'd have to be that would make you think a mass shooting even took place there. You got to be kidding me. But again, you guys, this is the world we live in. So I'm asking you, is there really even a Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran? Did anyone see him die? Did anyone see the police gun him down? Because I find it awfully suspicious that his name equals, 85, like Atlanta, Georgia, and the Jesuit motto, "Y Su Salvatum Salvator." And keep in mind, Atlanta is a Jesuit hotbed. Arthur Blank of the Falcons just happens to have the same birthday. The Jesuits are recognized by Rome. And again, if you guys are new here, if you're new here tuning into my videos for the first time, Understand, this code of letters and numbers, it's what the Jesuits who run this nation, who control every last police department, every last news media outlet, every last thing that's going on from the authorities in this nation, the nation that the Jesuits run, this is how they do it, by the code of letters and numbers, which comes from Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. Who are the Jesuits? Again, they're Jews who converted to Catholicism during the time of the Protestant Reformation. And again, you learn these numbers, you see right through what they're doing again and again. So just think about that right there. Now, if you read the story about Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran, he had a nickname, and his nickname was Tortuguita, which means little turtle. And notice the gematria Tortuguita. Well, we'll get that. Actually, you know what? If you're new here, understand, there are 4 base ciphers. The alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. These are the 4 base ciphers, what we look at every day. Very intuitive. But in those ciphers, Tortuguita equals 118, which is a number of death. The headlines were full of death on January 18th. 118 is the day they're saying the police gunned this man down. In Jewish gematria, both death and homicide equal 118. Fateful number all throughout history. So his nickname just happened to be Tortuguita, and he got killed on 118. Also super suspicious. Look at what else is in his name. 44 and 64. Interesting, because kill equals 44 and 64. They say the police shot him down. Officer equals 44. Gunfire 44. Shooting 44. Law enforcement 64. Again, kill equals 44 and 64. So does Georgia. Georgia equals 44. Georgia, the 4th state in order of statehood. So here, let's come back up to the top. So you have the killing of Manuel Esteban, and then you got the protest on the 21st where they say 6 Antifa protesters were charged with domestic terrorism. Now again, the protest on the 21st, 6 people arrested. Direct relationship with 21 and 6, which we talk about all the time. If you add 1 through 6 together, it equals 21. And this happened on a Saturday, the protest, named after Saturn. Saturn is the 6th planet. And in Gematria, Saturn equals 21. Again, so does Jesuit, so does Manuel, so does Esteban. First 2 parts of his name. The protest is over his killing on the 21st. You know, they had to wait till Saturday, right, to bust in the federal agent Antifa. Why not just have it the next day or 2 days later? Why'd they have to wait 3 days for Saturday the 21st? Again, we know why. Again, in Gematria, Jesuit equals 84 in the most simple cipher, just like United States of America equals 84, the Jesuit States of America. But notice, Atlanta's on the 84th meridian, also the 33rd parallel. Just like Antifa, you know, their strongest operation was up in the 33rd state, Oregon. The word federal is also 33. Trump tried out the federal police in the unmarked vans to wrap up Antifa, all part of their controlled narrative. Again, got to control both sides of the coin. Create the problem, then bring about the new level of police, the new federal unmarked police. Experiment with it in the 33rd state. Now here's it, Antifa down on the 33rd parallel. But again, 84th meridian, 33rd parallels in Atlanta. Jesuits 21, also 78. The killing of Miguel happened on the 78th day of Brian Kemp's age. And you could also say it was 77 days after Brian Kemp's birthday. Of course, number 77 for the Georgia Bulldogs just died on the 15th in a suspicious way. Right after the Georgia Bulldogs went 15-0 in the Rams Stadium. Again, Rams is 15. And notice how Matt Stafford's 44, just like Georgia. Remember last year he won the Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year after Georgia won the championship, and he went to Georgia. And then this year, Georgia wins it in the Rams building, going 15-0. Anyhow, what I want to show you is police department. See how it's got the gematria 77 forwards, 85 in reverse? Again, an 85-acre Cop City. And by the way, that Cop City news started on the day leaving 98 days left in the year, back in September. But police department, 77 forwards, 85 in reverse. The killing of the young man, if he really was killed, or the digital image, whatever he is, 77 days after Brian Kemp's birthday, or his 78th day of his age. And with regards to 77, remember things like secret society equals 77. Just like United States, the American meridian is the 77th meridian. United States of America, 84. Again, if you're new here, all these numbers matter. 132, the U.S. named on the 132nd day of the Illuminati's existence, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But anyhow, Jesuit 84, 21, 78, 42. Meanwhile, on the other coast, in Los Angeles, which also scrolls into the 33rd parallel, or I should say sprawls into the 33rd parallel, they were having the Lunar Festival shooting where the police officer Robert Luna gave us the details. Lunar 21, right? Lunar Festival shooting for the Lunar New Year on the 21st. And by the way, when you run Lunar in reverse, it's 33, and they're saying it's the 33rd mass shooting of the year, the Lunar Festival shooting. Lunar being 69 also factors in with Atlanta, because the Atlanta thing was happening also at the time of the Lunar New Year celebration. And remember when Atlanta beat the Astros in the World Series? See how World Series is 69 like Atlanta? They gave the Astros their 69th postseason loss, and then the Astro World tragedy happened, and then UB40's Astro died, and then World Series is 57 the other way, and when Nationals, which equals 57, played the Astros in the World Series, they gave them their 57th postseason loss, winning the World Series. Again, same knowledge used to script it all because the same Masonic Jesuit cabal runs the whole show. Sports, news, politics, turn on that TV, you're opening yourself up to the Jesuit deception, and it comes in a lot of different ways. And again, with regards to Jesuit 42, look at what they got to tell you in the big Jesuit ritual out there in Los Angeles. He shot 42 shots. 42 shots. The 72-year-old, Jesuit Order 72. If you missed today's earlier broadcast, they coded about 500 144s in it, including the police chief who told you the whole story, Robert Luna, for the Lunar New Year. And just wait till we get what day he was sworn in. Just before it happened. You won't believe it, but you will. So anyhow, if I had to take an educated guess at what really happened here, my guess is there is no Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran. My guess is that whole thing's manufactured. Just like, Michael Brown was a plastic dummy. If you guys don't know that, I wish they hadn't deleted my channel 1,000 times because I used to actually have the video on my original channel of them loading the plastic dummy that was Michael Brown that the police circled in the street for hours with their arms folded. I had the video when it was all done, how they picked up the plastic dummy and put it in the back of the police SUV. And if you want to see that plastic dummy, it's now on display on 47th Street in Chicago at a museum. The same plastic dummy that is the real Michael Brown, because the real Michael Brown is a plastic dummy. And again, this is what they do. They invent stories, and then they bus in protesters, just like they did in Ferguson. And by the way, just for familiar numbers, Ferguson 42, Missouri 42, what was his name? Darren Wilson, Ferguson, shooter, blue shirt. Let me just pull up the first image they put out of the shooter. There he is. That was the first image they put out. The Michael Brown killer in Ferguson 42 land with the 42 shirt. Not to mention the way it's also stamped all over Black history. But, and keep in mind that all these rituals going on in Atlanta from the dead football player. He died on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He was from Atlanta. Of course, the Hawks won on MLK's birthday. And the interesting thing about, MLK being born on the 15th and from Atlanta, Atlanta's also 15. Cal LeBron picked up his 15th win of the season on his birthday in Atlanta. Anyway, it's the same stuff over and over, you guys. Invented stories to piss people off, and then they add fuel to the fire by bussing in their federal agents like Antifa. And again, for people who've never been on the scene when this kind of stuff happens, you got to be there to really understand it. I got to see it happen firsthand back in 2012 with the May Day protest, which was back in the time of Occupy, but I was in Seattle, Washington. I was down there for the May 1st, 2012 protest, the day that Seattle was the big national news story. Again, there were a lot of peaceful protesters. They weren't creating any violence or chaos. But then here came the well-oiled machine, all these guys in all black, masked up, all with the same exact clothing on, the same exact boots. You don't get a civilian group like that, all wearing the exact same stuff, and they all had these nice little black bags with a brick in them. Everything was perfect. They all had batons, just like the police have, but they all came. There was about a pack of maybe 20 of them, and the police allowed it all to happen. They allowed this group to make a full lap around the whole little march that they had, and they allowed these guys in the black to break windows and bank windows and vandalize cars. They allowed them to do it for blocks as the police went by on their bicycles and horses, just following the whole thing. And then right when they got to Nike Town at the very end of the march, after letting them do all this damage when the march was pretty much over, because it was doing a complete square and it was coming right back to the very end, then here comes the scene made for TV. Here comes the police gas. You know, back then in Seattle, they even had a vigilante guy that was dressing up as a superhero. He was there with police gas. Now, I knew there was something up with that back then. This is before I knew Gematria, but I was like, who's this vigilante character that the news is talking about every night? And then he was even there with the police to break it up with the police gas, and he's probably undercover cop the whole time. But anyway, it was so made for TV. And then instantly, CNN, everybody's got it on the screen. Oh, chaos in Seattle, police busting up, you know. And it was the same thing. Before, they weren't calling it Antifa back then, but it was the same thing. A bunch of undercover police, military, psychological operations unit. It was so obvious. Because I was right there and I was saying, why don't the police just stop this group? I mean, there's 200 people in the group, and then none of these other 200 people are doing anything like that. They're just marching along with their signs and saying, you know, down with corporations controlling our government, enough is enough. And who's this other pack of 20 that just came in that moves like a well-trained school of fish? Yeah, and then the 200 people got it at the end with the tear gas, and then, you know, there were old ladies were in the group getting busted up with the tear gas. I mean, but this is what it is, you guys. This is our government. They're always staging the chaos so that they can come with another excuse for why they need even more police. They need even more cameras. You need even less rights and liberties. You know, people in Portland or Seattle are going to be begging for Big Brother to come save their cities, not realizing that Big Brother's the same one that made sure that the laws were all in place so the police had to stand down to the domestic terrorists, as they want to call them. Again, who these people really are federal terrorists, federal-sponsored terrorists, allowed to get away with mayhem and cause chaos all throughout America, all for the sake of what they want to do. Have these people beg now for Big Brother to come save them. Give us more cameras. Give us more police. Give us curfews. We just want Nike Town open again. And it's funny, you know, that right where it all ended in Seattle, now Nike Town. Now Nike Town's leaving Seattle because there's just too much. There's too much violence. There's too much chaos. They just can't have a profitable business down there. And understand, Nike, by the way, with all the Net 21 stuff, you guys, Nike's symbol is a ring of Saturn. See how Nike's 21 and 69, just like Saturn? They've had a good amount of rituals by the numbers over the years. Again, these huge companies, they're more than just private business, you know. They are part of the state, part of the fascist enterprise that rules over America. But yeah, this guy's, his nickname, it means Little Turtle. And again, he dies on Brian Kemp's 78th day of his age. You know, Little Turtle just happens to equal 78. Also 48 like Atlanta for the record. Right now, the new mayor of Atlanta is 48 years old. It happened 147 days before the mayor of Atlanta's upcoming birthday. Big Freemason number, 14748. Again, it's no accident there's 147 windows on the White House. And again, here's the stage managed scene. The federal agents masked like Antifa always are. Probably park the car right there with the directions to set that one on fire. They need it for the photo shot. They need that photo op. But, and then they said one of the 6 protesters comes from a very wealthy, powerful family in Maine. Oh, go figure. Francis Carroll. Something tells me that's a Jesuit family. Again, the Carroll family, John Carroll, the first Jesuit university founder, John Carroll, Georgetown, and Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope. Okay, so anyway, that's that. And then for the all too familiar pattern, again, I have the What is 47 campaign. Of course, 47 is the number of authority, and they're always performing rituals around 47. Robert Luna's first official day as LA County's new sheriff was Monday, a moon day, December 5th. They swore him in on Saturday, but as the article says, his first day was Monday, which was December 5th. And that was exactly 47 days before the shooting at the Lunar New Year celebration. Robert Luna breaks the news that it's going to be canceled. Sorry, no more Lunar New Year celebration. I'm Robert Luna, the new sheriff in town. Just got here 47 days ago. And remember, the shooting was on Garvey Ave, which is 47. And again, if you're new here, government, 47. Authority, 47. Republican, 47. Democrat, 47. President, 47. How about even the old Roman word, Caesar, 47? How about White House, 47? How about the letters DC, 47? Again, it's all about who controls time. Time is 47. You see the news guy for Fox who just died at age 47? He just dropped dead out of nowhere. News, 47. Cop, 47. Policeman, 47. What is 47? The number of authority. The Freemasons, they have the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Foundation's also 47, kind of like this nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month. Kind of like how the cornerstone was laid in D.C., September 18th, 1793, a date with 47 numerology. Kind of like how the cornerstone for the Washington Monument was laid on the 4th day of the 7th month, 4th of July. And also, if you look into the Masonic compass, which is set at 47 degrees for the Scottish Rite out of France, and again, D.C. was laid out by the French Freemason L'Enfant, the circular object at the top of the compass, the Masons call the pole star, which is 47. And again, France is also 47. Again, the Jesuits were founded in France. The Scottish Rite came to power there. Those are the two entities large and in charge in the nation's federal city, Jesuits and Masons. Again, France 47 forwards, D.C. 47 in reverse. And again, just so many rituals with this number over and over. I mean, can you imagine if I had to do a live stream covering every 40? It would be almost impossible to go back and cover all the 47s that I've talked about over the last decade. But I mean, if I had to do a straight live stream, I'd probably have to talk for like at least a month straight without taking a breath. And again, this happened on the 21st day of the first month. The date can be written 21/1, 211, the 47th prime. A celebration of time, the Lunar New Year. Robert Luna. Lunar, 21 forwards, 33 in reverse. Masonry Federal Secrecy Order 33. They said this was the 33rd mass shooting of the year. It's like, it is? Where's the other ones? It's just getting obnoxious the way they're getting away with this stuff. 33rd mass shooting. Hey, they got another one today, you guys. There's another one, actually, if you didn't hear about it, in Des Moines, Iowa. Got the same Gematria's active shooter. And Des Moines also 103. Again, if you missed my video earlier, I'm not going to redo the whole shooting for the Lunar Festival in California. But 103 was all over that, too. Another big number with the Jesuits. But since we just talked about 78 with what they did in Atlanta, the shooting today is at the Starts Right Here Academy. Starts right here with another 78. Remember that Jesuit Masonic motto, order out of chaos. 78. So, here, let me check in with the chat. Is there anybody in the chat watching right now who knew Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran, who was protesting the 85 acre copland training facility in Atlanta, Georgia, the 85 city along Interstate 85. Does anyone know that this person's real? Because, I mean, that's what's unfortunate about this day and age. This person's not real, but they look real. This person's not real either. Neither is this person, or that person, or this person, or this one. They all look real, though, but none of them are real. So my assumption is Miguel's like one of these people, a digital image that looks real. Is there any evidence out there that he ever existed? Because I don't know how they could possibly get these things so perfect day after day, unless it was all made up. And again, that's the thing about the media. We're never seeing any real evidence that anything happened. We're just hearing stories and people in suits get in front of cameras. You know, this guy, Robert Lunar, were you watching him today, his press conference? You know, he's just like, we want to be real careful and make sure you guys are only getting the facts. And the only fact I have in here for this 20-minute press conference is that there were 42 shots fired. It's like, well, at least he didn't say 33. I've heard that one a gazillion times. But I guess they already covered that by saying it was the 33rd mass shooting. But yeah, you know, I was making the point about 42 earlier today before that even came out. Again, it's the new year. New 42, right? New Testament 42. 42 generations to Jesus. Math 42. Jesuit 42. Freemason 42. All right, so here, if anybody knows I'm going to put my eyes on the chat now. I got to see if anybody's out there that knows Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran. Real person or not? Yeah, you're right. Gun 42, ammo 42. Yeah, just for the record while I wait on if somebody's got the answer. Yeah, exactly. Gun 42, ammo 42. Good point. Oh, the person who survived all 3 mass shootings. If you ever forget his name, which is Mason, if you ever forget his name, that's a reminder that you should download my ebooks. I've made them free. Just come to my website, GematriaEffectNews, GematriaEffect.news, right above this photo. Download ebooks for free. Right at the beginning of letters and numbers, I got his name, Mason Wells. Never escaped my mind, but it's on page 1 of the book. Mason Wells, who survived 3 terrorist attacks. The Mormon missionary in all the right places. Wait a minute, they only got 2 here, but this is the real deal right here. American teen survives attack in Brussels. His 3rd brush with terrorism. Who could forget that one was on 322? But they also said he survived the November 13th Paris attacks in tribute, and again, that was Friday the 13th, just like the Knights Templar got burned in Paris on the stake on Friday the 13th. But he also survived the Boston bombing. And again, like, how did they get away with the Boston bombing? Like, how doesn't America know yet? Boston bombing. Wasn't that on April 13th, the 103rd day of the year, too? But yeah, it's maddening that in the information age, every last American with a cell phone, smartphone, internet connection should know what they did with the Boston Marathon bombing. I mean, they literally were caught on camera staging the scene. Back then, YouTube didn't even delete videos, and there were like 10,000 YouTube videos sharing the work of them staging the scene, making it look like stuff had gotten messed up. But the scene didn't make any sense. They said a bomb went off, but all these balloons were there, and the balloons weren't even popped. Pouring blood out. People rushing in. Oh my God, man. But look at these stories. Mason Wells, 19. Of course he was 19. Woo! 3 brushes with tear. He must have been yeah, he must have had his magic underwear on. Don't doubt the Mormon faith. 3 terrorist attacks survived? Oh my goodness, that's got to be the true religion. It's either that or Islam, because, if Osama bin Laden's will was to turn those buildings into dust from a cave in Afghanistan, that's some serious power of faith. Yeah, but you guys, seriously though, they just treat us like we're morons every day, and they get away with it. It's so maddening. Hi, I'm Robert Luna, and your Lunar New Year Festival has been canceled. Yeah, by the way, I'm new here. They just swore me in. How many times have we seen this? A Truth Vibration podcast, you guys. Truth Vibration podcast is back. And you guys, again, there are consequences for speaking out in this world. And I've endured them. I'm pretty sure Truth Vibration podcast just endured them. Again, he tried to go out and do his thing on 9/11 at Tyndall Air Force Base, which is where they simulated the 9/11 attack on June 1st, 2001. The attack that they called the New Pearl Harbor, when Tyndall Air Force Base just happened to open in history on Pearl Harbor Day, the exact day it happened. And he's had a number of problems with the authorities since then, and he recently just got out of jail for 60 days, which pretty much messed up his life. They put him in jail for 60 days because they said his license was suspended. But even if it was suspended, that is a really severe jail sentence for a suspended license, 60 days, especially when right now they're letting crazy people out of jails all across the country who probably, if anyone belongs in a cage, it might be the people they're letting out. But Truth Vibration podcast, give him a sub and support the work he's doing, because he's been trying to get people healthy, and he's been trying to get. I'm glad to see the channel's growing some subs since I was last there, but let's get it even higher, you guys. Let's get it even higher. And 772.
Hey Zach, I wanted to get this message out there. This is something that maybe you can tell your sweet lady too, because I remember that you were saying that she was talking about how your support went down and whatever, people aren't supporting as much. Well, this is a message for you and everybody listening. If you think that you're supporting Zach's Patreon, check the Patreon, like whether it's the $1 tier, the $5 tier, because Patreon stopped for a while. I don't even know how long it's been, but Patreon wasn't they took off my $5 a month thing. I had it set on automatic. I thought that I was pledging $5 a month since like 2020, so that's like $80 right there. Who knows when they took it off? And I hadn't been supporting for who knows how long. I had just started again.
Well, that's okay. You shouldn't be supporting me anyway. You're too young. Save up your money. But I do appreciate that you want to support me like that. But you help out. You got your own channel. You don't need to be donating any money to me. But yeah, that has happened to a lot of people. And a lot of people can't even sign up anymore. It's fine. But hey, I don't even want to talk about supporting me right now. Let's support people like Truth Vibration Podcast right now, because he's in a tougher spot than I am. That's for sure.
We definitely need some support. Yeah, it's sad what they're doing, and I mean, this is just another reason why we need to get rid of these people, because this is what they do. When they don't like what somebody's doing, then they, and in their little network, they harass and do stuff to these people.
Indeed. And if more people were speaking out, there'd be too many people to do anything about it. That's the thing. When only a few people speak out, it makes them easy targets. But if everybody was doing their part, then we'd be an overwhelming force for them. That's the other point I'm trying to make. So.
Yeah, I really liked your. I just finished watching the March for Our Lives rally that you did. I didn't get to watch it then because Google deleted it, but I really appreciated that. I really liked that live stream. That was a really good live stream. I would have loved to be there. I'm saving up my money right now. Go to whatever the thing you're going to do next. Are you going to do anything before August, or you're going to do everything then?
I'm sure I'll do some stuff before August, because August is a ways away. So okay, I think once the weather gets better out here, like when it gets a little bit warmer, because it's cold right now in Idaho, like springtime, I want to go out there and educate about what they did at their campus, and with a nice big speaker setup, and see if we can get some engagement from the students. Might be easier for them to talk about it then, because it'll be a little bit more in the past. So
That sounds cool, and I'm a young person too, so they might be able to relate to me there. Yeah, I mean, when are you gonna do that? Like April or like
Probably,
May?
yeah, when the weather gets nicer.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm saving up my money. I have like $400 right now. I just started a bank account and stuff, so I've just
Well,
started.
you don't want to spend all your money just flying out for that. There'll be better events closer to you, so just keep saving.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm a budget guy, so I'm gonna be like in the cheapest hotel, cheapest flights, whatever. I don't need some fancy thing. I already have actually a pretty decent amount of the money I need. I think I only need like $600, and I already have 400. So, yeah, I'm almost there. And yeah, I definitely look forward to meeting you. And it's with all the big tech, monitoring and whatever. There's definitely stuff I wanted to talk to you about that I haven't been able to.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely look forward to meeting you. It's been a long time coming. I've already been here 3 years.
Time flies.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Feels like yesterday that I just started watching you, but yeah, I appreciate what you're doing. This is the most true man on YouTube. You're probably the most true person on the internet. I mean, you're not afraid to say anything. That was the first thing that drew me to this channel. It's like, man, this guy just says whatever's on his mind. He's right about everything. It was nice to see that, because everybody else on YouTube's like, you can't curse and you can't talk about this. And it was like, it was nice to see somebody stand up to it and, just speak truth.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, truth does not exist. But yeah, save your money, man. Thank you.
Okay. See you, man.
All right. Take care. Okay. I actually thought it was maybe Truth Vibration Podcast calling in, because I know he has a Florida area code too. But yeah, and again, the other person who's having a tough time right now is Ocho from the Ocho. And it's just annoying to see. I mean, he came out and pounded pavement with us in New York and in Connecticut at Yale. And, if you guys watched our stream at Yale, he had the camera and was, narrating about an hour that we were out there for hours. For about an hour, he was holding down the camera and putting his commentary out there, and people really enjoyed hearing his perspective. And yeah, he just, Ocho lives out of his car, and the state just came and took his car from him the other day. And it's frustrating, you guys, because it just reminds me like what I ultimately want to do. I want to build a place for the truth seekers who don't have to live under the harassment of the state, but it's so hard to find, reasonable people. It's like, there are reasonable people out there, but I know that there's some people who'd come to that community and they'd cause all kinds of problems because they're just so petty and pathetic. Like, I mean, it's just, but yeah, it sucks watching this happen to good people in the community get terrorized by the state. And again, that's what our state is. That's what the state is. For people who don't know that, the original definition of terrorism is intimidation by government. And essentially, that's why everyone complies with government, complies with all their BS. People know it's BS, the stuff they have to do. The excessive taxes, the continual renewing of tabs and licenses and all these fees, a tax on every last thing. I mean, why does the state have to collect a tax on every last thing? We do it, though, because we know if we don't, then we'll have even bigger fines and fees, and we might end up in a cage. It's just like a Truth Vibration Podcast. 60 days in jail because the state had deemed it. It's a joke, man. All right, I'm glad Truth Vibration Podcast got some money back to get some tacos in his life. Again, like I told you the other day, if you need anything, you can reach out to me. You got my number, because I feel like I owe you. So, yeah, they are extortionists. They definitely are extortionists. Hold on. How does Ocho spell his channel? He might spell it with like a 0. Shoot. Hold on. I got to find Ocho's channel. Bear with me a minute. I know I'm subscribed because I've been getting his videos. They didn't take down his YouTube channel, did they? Huh. I hope he didn't take down his YouTube channel. That's weird. Well, that's concerning too. Where's his YouTube channel at? But yeah, you guys, I mean, just watching these things happen to these two gentlemen, it just reminds me. This is why I've been saying we do need to figure out a way to come together and pool our resources together and create kind of like a safe haven for sensible people who are about a self-sustaining community. Yeah, November 15th, 2014, I was down to square one after what happened to me. And luckily, though, I did have my mom. My mom gave me $1,000 that day. And with that $1,000, I was able to multiply it into a whole lot more dollars based on making some decisions. But yeah, again, for people who don't know what happened to me November 15, 2014, I came home and my door was kicked in and everything of value in my house was stolen and everything that was left was sabotaged, and my business that I ran out of my shop at my house was totally sabotaged and destroyed. It was the worst day of my life. Very lucrative business, gone in the snap of fingers. And wait, you don't have my number, Truth Vibration Podcast? Are you asking me or somebody else? Here. If Truth Vibration Podcast wants to call in, let me put his number up here. Shout out to Vanessa. Vanessa pointed out that another drummer's dead. There's a 38-year-old drummer dead. That's the fourth drummer this year in connection to 38. Hold on, I'm going to open the phone line for, in case Truth Does Not Exist is trying to call in. I saw somebody posted that not only did the 49ers become 19-19 against the Cowboys, winning with 19 points yesterday, but the game was 1,919 days after the last time the Cowboys played in San Francisco. Oh, Truth Vibration's trying to get Ocho's number. Well, how about if you have my number, text me right now, because I do have Ocho's number. Okay, you're not trying to call him right now. You're talking about Ocho. Well, if you have my number, you can message me, and I can send you Ocho's number if you want to reach out to him. I saw that there was another shooting in something like Half Moon, California, or something like that. Cincinnati? Cincinnati.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's going on?
Mr. Zachary, I wanted to run something by you real fast. I think I have finally decoded the
Hello?
I finally decoded the two teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. Not to go off topic, not to change the subject matter at hand on the live stream, but I finally know what's going to happen. It's going to be like you said in your video on yesterday. I think we're going to see a rematch of Super Bowl 23 next month. Well, I don't really think. I know for sure. I know for a fact that that a rematch of Super Bowl 23 is going to get ready to unfold and to take place. It's going to get ready to take place next month. So anybody out there that's saying that that there's going to be Eagles or the Chiefs, no way. I don't see any of that happening. What's pretty much going to be what we're going to see next month is a rematch of Super Bowl 23, and it's so clear that that's going to take shape and take form. So, Mr. Zachary, that's all I wanted to say. I'm not going to hold it long because I know other people want to call in. I just want to tell you that I love you and stay safe and be careful, my brother.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right. Take care. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to close the phone line because we'll probably get calls about every topic except for what I'm talking about. And I was really opening it up for Truth Does Not Exist in case you wanted to phone in. But yeah, I did just see this break right before I got on here. 4 people killed in Half Moon Bay shooting. Come on, right after the Lunar New Year with Robert Luna. It's just, I mean, that's why it's so maddening, you guys. There shouldn't have been a person in the world named Zachary K. Hubbard that even had to figure out Gematria and how they're doing stuff by the numbers, because everyone should have caught on with the brain that we're being made fun of every day with the obvious lies. A national emergency on 9/11. 2 steel frame buildings collapsing in a perfect demolition, and then a 3rd steel frame building collapsing in a perfect demolition 8 hours later. That the BBC said collapsed before it even collapsed. And still the average American doesn't know about Building 7 that day. I mean, it's impossible. It's impossible. Half Moon Bay. 4 people were shot in... You see the 2:20 p.m.? Let's go back to what I showed earlier about 2:20 in yesterday's ritual. Let's go back. Let's go back. Hold on. Remember what I said about Xi Jinping and how they're trying to make it into China over here where only the authorities can have guns? Wouldn't you feel so much safer if only the authorities who terrorize us every day could have guns? I'd feel so much safer if only the authorities could have guns. Obviously, I'd never have to protect myself from them. Let's go back to what I said about 2:20. Xi Jinping, again, the Chinese Lunar New Year, it just happened to be 220 days after his birthday that this happened this year. And that probably means there's going to be some fireworks with China this year. But Chinese Lunar New Year, 2:20. Then a shooting in Half Moon Bay at 2:20 p.m. The day, they said the other one was at 10:22 p.m. at 1:22 Garvey, just in time for the news cycle for 1:22. Half Moon Bay. Let's get a load of this town. Oh, it's up to 7 dead. It went from 4 dead to 7 dead, you guys. From 4 to 7. Okay, got it. Another 47. Well, hold on. Somebody's jumping the gun with 7 dead. NBC's going with a different number. 4 over here, 7 over there. See the 74 sheriffs in Illinois who stood up for gun rights? By the way, Illinois is the 21st state, right? Illinois is taking away the guns. Gavin Newsom wants to take away the guns. Next thing you know, he has a shooting on the 21st day of the year. He's a Jesuit. Jesuit 21. All right, let's get a load of Half Moon Bay's Gematria. Half Moon Bay, how about it? 49 and 50 like gun control. Did we not talk about this? How last year on the 49th day of the year, Gavin Newsom gave a speech about gun control. He pinpointed Texas. He said, we don't want to be like Texas. Then Dallas equals 49 versus the 49ers, the day of the news cycle, just happened to be. And then remember, they put out a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie right after that. And if you haven't seen the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's about a bunch of young people that think guns are stupid. And then there's like 15 scenes in the movie where there's a gun right there, but the young guy doesn't know how to use a gun because he doesn't like get guns. So he gets torn apart by the chainsaw. And then who was the big star in one of the first Texas Chainsaw Massacres? Matthew McConaughey. And then in his hometown, there just happens to be a mass shooting in his hometown in Texas right after. And he's at the White House holding up the green Converse just in time for the Boston Celtics going down in the finals to the San Francisco. Saying it's time to do something about all these shootings. That police chief, his first day on the job was 47 days before the shooting, but he was sworn in 2 days before, 49 days before the mass shooting, coming back to gun control and Gavin Newsom's speech on the 49th day of the year. So here we go, Half Moon Bay. We'll call it Gun Control Bay. How about the 112, you guys? The 112 look familiar? Like how the Jesuits operate in 112 countries? Like how Catholicism's 112 and 49 and 180. Actually, Half Moon Base 112 and 185, like Catholicism. Also like mathematics, like 1 + 1 is 2. Half Moon Bay. Must be another coincidence. Half Moon Bay, California. Let's take it all the way. 115 like Masonic and killing. 101 like an assassin. Yeah, anyway, it's mostly the Half Moon Bay thing. But this stuff is so dumb. It's just so dumb. I love that the temperature is 57 degrees right there. I guarantee that's some BS. Google has some, I'm telling you guys, when you start looking at all this stuff and just pay attention, you just realize each day it's a joke. Like the temperatures Google's reporting, just moon is 57. It's a Monday, moon day. We got a shooting in Half Moon Bay on Monday, moon day. Oh my God. It's maddening that they know that we're so dumb. AP had to publish at 44 minutes after the hour. Again, shooting equals 44. In a way, I wish I had flown down to LA. I'd like to be on the speaker right now about what's going on. DK Stonewood.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
I'm just preliminary. I haven't listened to most of it. I just heard some key words, so I just wanted to throw this in there, see if it jives, if it makes any sense. So, remember the movie Copland?
Oh, is that with Sylvester Stallone?
I can't remember who's in it now. It's old. But that came out. That came out on 8/6/1997, so 86. I don't know if that has anything to do with that area. They're talking about Copland. And then right away when you said Half Moon Bay, that's famous for like Mavericks. And there was a movie with Gerard Butler they made called Chasing Mavericks about the kid Jay Moriarty that died. That was like kind of got famous surfing at Mavericks. But the most famous death at Mavericks was Mark Fu. I didn't get a chance to look that up. I'm going to watch. If you look that up, I bet you it's like right on the same day or something.
Mark Fu, huh? Okay.
Mark Fu is a famous surfer. My buddy actually has one of his old boards, but he died at Mavericks.
I see.
Which is Half Moon Bay. And that's what I think put Half Moon Bay on the map is that surf spot. Otherwise, nobody really knew about it.
Well, and yeah, I guess that tide is controlled by the moon, so I'm sure that's part of the name.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good information.
That's all I'm going to throw in. I'm going to keep listening. I just wanted to throw that in there before you ended the stream if it had any relevance. I haven't looked up the date of the Mark Fu death yet or anything, but I was just looking at Copland to see if it came out on this day, but it was 8/6, which is even better.
Hey, I was thinking about something. Since you're buddies with the Fullerton Informer, and even though I'm not crazy about that guy, again, really, him and I and everybody else in this community that has a following should be working together and try to get some big events to happen. So, since you're friends with him, maybe pass on the word, because he has a big following in California. And I do plan to come down to California and do a little road trip and pass through, hit up Big Tech on the way down to Kobe Bryant anniversary. But I think we need to plan some big events for California later this year, so...
Yeah, for sure. He's usually pretty down to come out and pound pavement if there's stuff to do. I didn't know you guys even knew each other until you told me last time. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, he's just another guy that unnecessarily started attacking my work and saying Gematria is dumb. And again, I'm like, these people, man, Gematria is dumb. Like to me, you got to be a moron to think what I show is dumb day after day. I mean, the stuff is undeniable. So
I think it can be said that it's basically for dummies. Like, you got to be, it's like, if you don't have the intuition and everything else necessary to figure out what's going on, at least you have Gematria to fall back on, to where it's just like math and numbers. There's no, like, you don't have to use your own brain almost even. You could just get out a calculator and it'll be done for you. That's how I see it. Like, if you have no other ends, you can't figure it out, fall back on the Gematria, because it's like the receipt tape for everything, right?
Right. It's the way that they construct the rituals that they perform.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why if I can't figure something out, then the next person I want to run it by is you. What with all the numbers that are in your head, what patterns do you see here? That's how I see it, as far as like trying to figure stuff out. Like, that's the one thing you can always fall back on. And it's totally objective. It has nothing to do with what you think or if your intuition's working well or not. You know what I mean? It throws out all the variables.
Yeah, indeed. All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, take care. And again, you guys, we've been talking about 38-year-old dead drummers for all the years we've been here. There were already 3, and now there's a 4th. We have, and I mean, we're barely halfway through January. We already got 4 dead drummers in connection to 38. 38-year-old drummer dead. I already forget his name. But this is a different one. If Vanessa's out there, Vanessa posted the name at the beginning. Here it is. Metal drummer TJ DeBloy, dead at 38. And again, you guys, I mean, for the person who's new here, drummer 38. Actually, you see how drummers 38 and 43. You had 2 drummers dead on New Year's. New Year's is 38 and 43. Killing's also 38 and 43. RIP's 38 and 43. But you had 2 dead drummers on New Year's, Earth, Wind, and Fire drummer and Modest Mouse drummer. And God, remind me, there was another drummer who just died about a week ago, 38 days from his birthday, and it already escapes me who it was. There's just so much to keep up with. But this is the 4th drummer death this year connected to 38. And let's see. This guy have a... This guy's not as famous, so he doesn't have like a Wikipedia page, but... It is just... And look at what day he died. He died January 19th. So that's 19/1, like 191, the 43rd prime. So dead at 38 on 19/1, again, 191, the 43rd prime. You see how drummer's also 97? Look at death. Death, 97/38. That's why, the drummer so often is the first member of the band to die. Yeah, Bachman Turner Overdrive drummer. That's who it was. Thanks, Green Arrow. Green Arrow's on top of it. Yeah, again, I see you guys talking about the Super Bowl in the chat. For 2 years in a row now, the Niners and Bengals both played on the anniversary of Super Bowl 23, and they both won on that day. That's what we were talking about yesterday in a big way. 2 years in a row, the exact same thing. We were talking about it last year as well. Bengals and 49ers playing on the anniversary of Super Bowl 23, where the 49ers beat the Bengals for the second time. Once again, both teams advance. Scripted sports, scripted news. Again, it's the 103rd NFL season. Dak Prescott stayed on 103 games played by losing yesterday. The mass shooting's 103 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday. Then the next mass shooting after that's the one in Des Moines today, which is 103. I mean, it's just...
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, what's up?
There's a tweet from DeMar Hamlin where he's posting a picture of himself saying, like, clone. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's on DeMar Hamlin's Twitter. It's like just, peak mockery.
Well, I'm sure he's making fun of what people are writing online, I see it.
Yeah, no, but...
That's what I would be doing if I was a real person. I'd be making fun of, yeah. But it's just like, well, people are kind of dumb too, because why were they showing him in the shadows? We know it's all symbolic. I did see how he was in the shadow in the press box, and people are like, oh, he's doing the Illuminati pyramid. It's like, he's doing the same heart thing he did in the photo for the hospital, not the Illuminati pyramid. But
I think they put out a lot of bait with this type of stuff, as we see, but just like...
That's like what I was saying, though. I was saying, is this ritual actually for Buffalo, or is it for Cincinnati? So...
Yeah, but as far as, the people saying, like, aside from the game, people saying, like, he's dead or whatever, because it's like if he comes back, then all those people look like a fool, and then they got to stick with the clone thing, and, just a way to discredit anyone who's questioning.
But that's what's annoying, too. It's like, look at what's getting the views on YouTube. Videos about Damar Hamlin being a clone. It's like people like bullshit more than they like real information and knowledge. It's also why religion does so well. It's like everybody's in an infant mind state. They like make-believe, they like fantasy,
Entertainment, yeah, because they can all have their interpretation. But, the gematria, I mean, the numbers, it is what it is. You can kind of write out random stuff and make it look bad, but, that's...
Yeah, and again, all the morons that are just constantly harassing my channel. Ooh, what happened to the Bills? It's like, well, did you watch my stream yesterday? Because I told anybody who had a future on the Bills, you better bet on the Bengals, who had a good payout because they had a strong narrative to win yesterday. And I've been speculating for a while that maybe it's not the Bills season because they haven't looked quite right. And we did spot at the beginning of the playoffs, before a single game was played, how possible it would be. Again, there were 4 Super Bowl scenarios that made a lot of sense to me before the playoffs were played. The Andy Reid Bowl, Super Bowl 23 rematch when the 49ers are a 2 seed and the Bengals are a 3 seed, and that was Super Bowl 23 and Brock Purdy's 23. And also, one of the scenarios that made sense that's obviously out the window was Bills-Vikings, because they had a lot of numbers. And what also seemed like a super long shot before the year was with the dollar bill symbolism with Bucks and Bills. But realize, we've been thinking about how money could fit in. What ultimately money is gold, and there is one team that's named after gold, and that's the 49ers. And what's wild is if they do make it to the Super Bowl, they can have a 17-4 record, and this year is 174 years after the gold rush began that they're named after. So,
jeez, and if the kicker's named Gold.
Exactly. I love that Robbie Gold's the kicker for the Niners.
Yeah, man, it's tough, and I mean, I appreciate that you give out multiple scenarios and you have people, cover themselves.
Well, the thing is, if you took any of those 4 scenarios, all you had to do was hit on one to make money. So
yeah, like the World Series.
Yeah, exactly, and we do it year after year. Again, it's just like seeing the roulette wheel. Some years we only need one scenario. There's been years where I didn't have to hedge on anything. I'm just like, this team is winning this year. This is the ritual. We've done that a lot. We've only had these 2 teams all year, and they've hit. But sometimes it's tough, and it's like, well, this could make sense, that could make sense, but if you pick one of those right combinations, you're in the money. So,
and pretty underrated on the NBA. Like, it doesn't get talked enough about how you basically had the Warriors and the Sixers, right?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And we said the Warriors were the more likely team; they were the better team. So, I mean, yeah. And again, I mean, I've killed every sport in futures. I have nothing left to prove. I mean, I nailed so. My first 3 futures I ever put out for the NBA were why it was going to be Warriors, Cavs 3 years in a row while they were calling LeBron the Godfather. And again, it was all through Nate Thurmond, number 42, whose number was retired with the Warriors and Cavs. And of course, LeBron's Mr. 42. But the first year my future was wrong was I didn't think they were going to do it 4 years in a row. I thought the 4th year was going to be LeBron versus the Rockets. And of course, it ended up being 4 years in a row, Warriors, Cavs. And, but still, I mean, 3 years in a row. And those weren't easy picks at the time. Everybody thought I was wrong the first year I said it was going to be Warriors, Cavs. Everyone thought it was Derrick Rose and the Bulls that year, which is what the media was hyping. I was like, nah, this whole thing's running through Nate Thurmond this year. You just watch. Boom. So. Yeah,
I wish I was around back then, but it sounds like it was like a lot easier. The riddles were just clearer. Now they kind of just... I mean, the Suns-Bucks one, that feels like it kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, no, I didn't feel it come out of nowhere. We had Suns were my backup team in the West, and Bucks made sense because we knew that whole year was about 56. I picked Los Angeles Lakers versus Suns to be the Western Conference Finals. It ended up being Clippers versus Suns. But Phoenix Suns 56, Bucks 56. Everything was 56 at that time. It was when it was in the middle of coronavirus mania. So,
yeah, no, I got the Suns part. I just I don't know. They bait with the other teams a lot. So anyway, man, I'm going to get off. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, appreciate it, Tachi.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah, again, I mean, this knowledge is what they use to script everything. And yeah, just all the haters that are out there, oh, what happened to this? Hey, we made all our money back on the future. The night that the Cowboys knocked out the Bucks, I said, if you have a future on the Bucks, you better be betting on the Cowboys tonight and hedging against that future because it's not looking too good for Brady. So, yeah, again, when my futures don't come through, I know in advance when they look bad and when you better hedge and get your money back. And I always keep people on that path who pay attention and listen to the information. So, anyway. Pakistan power outage 220 million right now. Is that a current headline? 3 hours. 220 million. There's the same number again. On a Monday, which is named after the moon, right after the Lunar New Year. See? See the value of having the knowledge? Then you can just laugh at the Half Moon Bay shooting on a Monday at 2:20. You know? Oh, what? Did they already take that detail of the story? This is the same article I just had up a minute ago that showed the 2:20. Anyway. Chinese Lunar New Year, 220, and it began 220 days after Xi Jinping's birthday. And the thing about Xi Jinping, the Lunar New Year beginning 220 days, he's 69 years old right now. Lunar is also 69. So, I got to do some more research on what happens in the year of the rabbit. You might want that could be some good homework right now. Again, the Chinese New Year is at every 12-year cycle. So the last one began 12 years ago, which would have been what? 2011. Then it would have been 1999, 1987, 1975, 1963. There was a year. JFK. You know what somebody just sent me today? You see how U.S. President's 147 and President of the United States is 147 and there's 147 windows in the White House? I think I even just saw that Madame President is 147. Yeah, that's what Kamala was referred to as Madame President, became president. I bet you've never seen it before. August 26, 1960, 147 days before becoming president. Look up his speech. I don't want to ruin it for you. But he was getting down on his knees for that infamous country that we send a lot of money to every year. It's got that superior military in the Middle East. Everybody, that's another fake history. That's another fake hero from history, JFK. That's why his whole life is by the numbers too. So, and you know who dies at age 147 in Genesis 147? The guy who Israel's named after. Hold on. What's wrong with me? I need to revisit the Bible. Hold on. Jacob, Bible, age of death. He does die at 147. Yeah, and again, Jacob becomes Israel. JFK just happened to give his speech about Israel 147 days before Inauguration Day. Hey, you guys want to know something else? D26 called me today. He's like, hey, did you know this? And I was like, I don't think I did know that. Notice this, you guys. July 4th, like if you measure from July 4th to Inauguration Day, it's the 201st day of the nation's age. And remember, inauguration of the President of the United States, we know that equals 201, like how the date's written 20/1. This year on 20/1, they found more classified documents, which equals 201. But January 20th is the 201st day of the nation's age. If you're new here, huge Jesuit number. You should see what... Hey, since we started with Atlanta, let me give a shout out to Jeremy White. Let's go back and revisit what they did in Matt Ryan's 201st career game, who's Jesuit educated. Hold on. The volume's quiet on this one, but hold on. Oh, here it is, right here.
Oh, don't judge me, Anton. Alcohol-free. Oh, back to work.
All right, the volume's quiet on this, but even if you can't hear it, just understand this was Matt Ryan's 201st career game. Huge number at the Jesuits. He's Jesuit educated, and they give up this really contrived stat to get a 201 on the screen. Just watch this. Watch this. In Matt Ryan's 201st game, and he gives up a big lead. They had a big lead on the Cowboys. We had a nice 6-game parlay that day that hit, but we were all terrified that it was about to fall apart because of Matt Ryan. I was talking about Dallas in 49? Matt Ryan got his, I think it was his 49th road loss in that game, and that number hits hard with Dallas. And that's why Dallas and the 49ers meet so much in the playoffs in the rigged NFL, where it's all about the numbers. NFL's 49, just like Scottish is 49, just like America's 49. And notice how America's 32 and so is Scottish. 32 teams in the league. NFL's 32. 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the Admerum Dei Gloriam motto with the Jesuits. But there's a lot to say about that. They put up a lot of Jesuit numbers there. They showed Matt Ryan with 54,000 passing yards, Jesuit order 54. He went to Boston College, by the way, the Jesuit school, which is also 144 and 54 like Jesuit order. And then they showed Brady with 86,000 passing yards there. But yeah, again, it's all number jokes. And that's why the games are rigged this way. And when you know what to look for, you can get ahead of the outcomes. And yeah, since we started in Atlanta, that's not a bad way to bring it back. Not a bad way to bring it back. Again, for all you Atlanta fans still sore about the 25-point comeback, again, I used to have a video that Google deleted with my channel, guaranteeing why Brady'd win in the 25-point tribute over the Falcons before it even happened, before the 25-point comeback happened. Falcons 25. The Pope blessed that Super Bowl. It was on his 51st day of his age, Super Bowl 51. Rome is 51, but knows Pope is 25. Trump was talking about how big of a Patriots fan he was, how he was cheering for the Patriots. He'd just become the president. Trump 25. See what a joke it is? 25-point comeback on 2-5. Don't forget that was the 97th NFL season. And Bill Belichick's 97, the 25th prime. And they moved the touchback to 25 yards that year. And then again, National Football League is 85. So was Brady. So was Atlanta, Georgia, and then Interstate 85 burned down and they blamed it on a crackhead. Hold on. I almost want to go back and revisit the I-85 story. Now you got the protester with the 85 name protesting the 85-acre police department facility. Let me see. Homeless man, Bazel Elabi's crack smoking blamed for Interstate 5 fire and collapse. Okay. I guess we had multiple posts on this one, but his name equaled 38 like fire and Falcons the other way, so I got to run it forwards and backwards. Blamed it on a homeless man on the 33rd parallel. HDPE was the type of plastic that caught on fire from the crack pipe that burned down the freeway, another 33. First degree arson they charged him with, 84 for the 84th meridian. Put these other names in the story that sync up with fire and arson. They set the court date for April 14th. April 14th, 144 Jesuit order. You know, to go with your Jesuit quarterback. Just couldn't get it done from Boston College. It burned down on March 30th. 3 plus 30, 33. Again, I mean, imagine if everybody was up on the knowledge. Like, these posts are from years ago. This is 2017. Would anybody be baffled by the 85-acre police facility in Atlanta, Georgia, for for police departments to train at? Another 85 word. And they do it on purpose to like piss people off, right? It's like the authority like flexing their muscles. We're gonna cut down 85 acres of a natural preserve for. I mean, that's huge. 85 acres. What do you need 85 acres for to train cops? They must be training for some really big false flags. You thought 9/11 was big. They got way bigger ones planned going into the future. It happened 53 days after the Super Bowl. Again, the shape of the football in sacred geometry is the vesica Pisces, which equals 53. And that's why there's a 53-man roster in the NFL and a 53 and a third-yard wide field. It would also be a span of 54 days, too. Could have emphasized the span of 54 days. Jesuit order 54. The homeless man's going to court on 14/4. Hey, what happened this past year on April 14th? You guys remember? Good Jesuit puppet Elon Musk offered $54 a share for Twitter on 14/4. He said there wouldn't be any more censorship. The days of censorship would be over. 54, 144. Then next thing you know, he's censoring a guy for showing his private jet, where it's taking off, where it's landing. Get the joke? And then remember when he brought Trump back? Oh my God. Remember when Trump was at the Vatican on the 144th day of the year posing with the first Jesuit Pope? Let's see. Elon Musk, Trump, 144. Look at this. Look at this. 144 days after Elon Musk's birthday, they bring back Trump. And, you know, what this really reminds me of is the first time my channel was deleted was June 28th, 2017, in Trump's first year as president, on Elon Musk's birthday. And it was total bullshit. I wasn't even posting videos when they deleted my channel. I said, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. I'm putting the finishing touches on my first book. And I had zero strikes on the channel at the time. I'd done a real good job of minding my P's and Q's because I'd been getting a lot of strikes and suspensions, but if you go 3 months without getting one, they clear. And I had no strikes when I announced that I was going to take a 2-week break to finish the book, and then they struck 3 old videos on Sandy Hook and deleted the whole channel. And back then I had a lot of subs and got big views, and I think my book would have been hugely successful back then when I was able to get, I had videos that got 1 million views back then. I had a nice buzz back then. Yeah, I was deleted June 28, 2017, and I thought about that because I was calling out people like Trump and Elon Musk and showing how they were puppets. And it's just funny, all these years later, it's just like, I think I was more right about that than I knew. Everybody's fake Jesuit saviors. Remember how we started with the guy in Atlanta, who is probably a digital image, dying on the 78th day of Orion Kemp's age? You see how Jesuit's 78, so was Tesla? Again, go back and look when Elon Musk was declared the richest person in the world for the very first time. The 78-year anniversary of the death of Nikola Tesla. And it's weird that Nikola Tesla died in 43. Elon Musk 43. For a minute, they said his purchase deal at Twitter was, 43 million, something like that. Okay, coming back to the crack pipe that burned down the freeway. Oh yeah, fire's also 25 to go with the 25-point comeback. It interrupted an estimated 250,000 vehicles that use that stretch of freeway each day. Sorry, Atlanta. Just got to do our little ritual. The exit was at Piedmont. Familiar numbers. 42 like Jesuit, 42 like Freemason, 96 like Freemason, 39 like Masonry, 120 like Illuminati, 120 the 15th triangular number, Atlanta 15. So. The only difference between back then and now is I know even more. But 144 points in the Georgia Tech game. At the same time that was going on. Talking about the same stuff back then. Ooh, man. And that synced up with the Oakland ghost ship fire, too. But yeah, you guys, I've been documenting it all, and again, there are still a lot of posts on this site, and I'm happy to say that in the last few days, well, it's probably been more than a week now, I haven't gotten an announcement that they deleted any posts from this site. For a while, they were like deleting 100 posts a day, but there were over 30-some thousand blog posts on there, so they'd have to be deleting 100 posts a day before they got rid of all of it. So... anyway... oh, they got the suspect in the Half Moon Bay shooting. Oh my God, man. But by the way, I'm sure you guys see the comedian that's dead at 78. I actually have a post about that. Polo equals 44 like comedian like kill. He didn't die on the 44 date numerology. He could have joined that club. A lot of comedians have. He did die on a date with 67 numerology, though, like blood sacrifice. And today's date numerology is 6747, the day he's dead. And the article about him said he became famous in 76. Do the math on that one. 47 years ago. R.I.P. to Polo. Half Moon Bay is approximately 28 miles south of San Francisco. Why do they throw 28 in there? I mean, I can speculate. Mason equals 28. Kill 28. Surprised they didn't go with the moon number. And yes, today does have 47 date numerology, so... let me see. Who is the Half Moon Bay Police Department? Do they have their own police department? Or is it like San Mateo? Here, let me try it out. Let me see if they're taking phone calls. San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. Let me see. Sometimes we just got to remind these offices that not all of us are dumb. Let's see.
You have reached the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. If you have an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Ha llamado a la oficina del Sheriff del Condado de San Mateo. Si tiene una emergencia, cuelgue y llame el 911. Please listen and choose one of the following menu options. To report a crime or speak to a deputy, press 1. For the jail, press 2.
Since 1856. Unbelievable.
County Radio here?
Yes. Just calling to express some concerns about the shooting in Half Moon Bay. Just on behalf of the people who are not brain dead, the mockery yesterday of Robert Luna, recently sworn in, telling us about a grandpa going on a shooting rampage in a Lunar New Year festival. Now here we are on Monday, the day of the week named after the moon, And really, we gotta. Did you hang up on me? She transferring me? What's going on?
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Yeah, I just got transferred, but again, I'm calling on behalf of all.
I didn't transfer you. I put you on hold because a 911 call was ringing, so I had to answer that. How can I help you, sir?
Again, I'm expressing something that's worthy of a 911 call. I mean, it is a joke the way the authorities get away with mocking us in this country. Again, just the fact that we even had a national emergency on 911 blamed on a boogeyman in a cave. But I'm nearly 40 years old now. I was 18 when 9/11 happened, and I just watch these news stories night after night that are such obvious loads of BS. Does it not strike you funny that Robert Luna was just sworn in LA as the sheriff, and then there's a mass shooting on the Lunar New Year celebration, and now the next national news story is in Half Moon Bay on Monday, Moon Day? It's so obvious that there's an orchestrated effort from the authorities to scare us out of our rights and liberties. Well, where are the police and sheriffs in Illinois standing up for gun rights right now as the citizens who are law-abiding citizens who own weapons are being threatened with becoming felons? Again, I mean, it makes me sick that I know as an American that if I don't pay my taxes, eventually I'll have some kind of law enforcement at my door dragging me off into a cage. I don't want to pay taxes to a nation that does this. It's so obvious the authorities are behind all of these events, from 9/11 to what just ever happened in, Monterey Park, blamed on old grandpa. Where's the footage of a 72-year-old man laying waste to people like Rambo? Did you see what they did? And how about in New York City on the anniversary of the start of the American Civil War? Think about it, Underground Railroad. What did they do on April 12th? They said an old, overweight man smoked a whole bunch of people in the subway, firing off 33 shots, a reminder of how many police departments are right across the street from the Masonic Lodge where they worship the number 33. But 33 shots, and then the new mayor, who's the former police chief, was so proud that they got the old, overweight man 30 hours later. Coincidentally, all the cameras were out. I mean, how's it even possible? New York City, cops swarming everywhere. I was just in New York to talk about 9/11. We had cops riding us through the whole city, tailgating us through the whole city just because we had a megaphone dropping truth bombs about the lies of 9/11. You mean to tell me a guy could go in a subway and fire off 33 shots and kill a whole bunch of people? Think about it. Underground Railroad, right, on the anniversary of the Civil War. Then where's the next shooting? Oh, in Buffalo, where the Underground Railroad ran through. In the store that opened in the big political event on O.J. Simpson's birthday, the Buffalo football star, and the white Bronco chase. I mean, seriously, what do you hear right now as I'm saying this? Are you in disagreement with me, or are you hearing where I'm coming from? You don't know what to say?
So you call the 911 dispatch center if you need assistance with police, fire, or an ambulance.
Here's what I'm really saying. Spread the word in your office, please. I'm just calling. This is the sheriff's office for San Mateo County. I don't know who else to call. But again, if there weren't people occupying jobs like yours, if there weren't people working for the police department and signing up for the military, you know what? These authorities that carry out these rituals to enslave us all and take away our rights and liberties, they'd be wide open to getting the punishment that they deserve. And that's speech from a real American who understands that the nation was founded out of a revolution against tyranny. We are ruled over by tyrants, and people like you are essentially their footmen. You serve the authority positions that are doing this to us each day. Here, do me a favor, since you don't think it's your job to listen to me right now. Tonight when you're off work, go back and look at everything they did in 1968. I want you to think about this. 1968, huh? She's got a 911 call. All of you people in the chat who worry, you must be new here. I've been calling the FBI, senators, congressmen, police departments. There hasn't been any problems. They're not going to do anything about it. Well, when I say there hasn't been any problems, other than when they destroyed my house. But these days, I don't keep all my assets in my house. I've gotten smarter since 2014. Well, we'll see if she comes back. She does have to take calls for other things. I want to see if she comes back. Or maybe she just put me on permanent hold. She didn't hang up, but she did put me on hold. We'll see. That's everybody's line, though. I'm just doing my job. You know, simple troll who stiffs the cabbies while he's a groper at the airport. And his response video is like, I was just doing my job. Nobody should get on somebody for doing their job. That's why that guy's a total fraud and doesn't belong in this community. When you use that kind of rhetoric, I was just doing my job. No, you're not part of the truth community. You're part of the problem. We've known that from day one. That fat, sloppy fucking piece of shit. I knew something was wrong with him from day one. Came from the NYPD. Hello?
Hi, thanks for holding. How can I help you?
I'm waiting on hold because I wanted to tell you what to look up when you get off tonight. I want you to understand what kind of nation this is and what it is to serve the authority. Please look into 1968. That's the year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began. George W. Bush graduated from his powerful secret society, Yale Skull and Bones, which his father and his grandfather were both members of. But also in 1968, that's the year coronavirus was coined. That's the year the FDA approved fentanyl. A lot of things happened in 68. Assassination of MLK, infamous year. But I want you to think about fentanyl and all those things related to 9/11 in 68. Because what did we do after 9/11? We went into Afghanistan and we killed the Taliban, who had taken down all of the poppy production. Afghanistan has historically produced the most poppies in the world, which of course is what, fentanyl's made out of, and heroin and all these other things. But opioid use was way down in the world when they were in control. We went over there and murdered them all, and then we brought back the production, and then we had our own military guard the poppy fields that we brought back into production. And I just want you to think about it in light of the way government contracts work and how, with coronavirus, we have a military operation to rush out a jab that's causing a lot of myocarditis for people, which the media is keeping on the DL. Again, I know you feel like you're just a person doing your job and you're just taking calls, but again, it's because people like you work for these authorities that these authorities are protected to get away with their tyranny and their agendas. And they constantly keep our minds busy and distracted with their nonstop ritualistic BS, from 9/11 to Robert Luna telling us about the Lunar New Year Festival shooting to now the one in your town at Half Moon Bay on a Monday. It's a joke. So anyway, thanks for listening to me. Please pass on the word, because we need Americans like you to do their part and stop serving these tyrannical authority services.
All right, you take care, sir. I'll have to disconnect now. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, at least she listened, and you just never know. It might not plant in her mind tonight, but maybe the next story will. Or maybe she'll see something in the workplace. Or maybe she will talk to somebody about it. Maybe the seed did plant tonight. Again, it's just maddening, though. It's just maddening, man. Well, for the person who said there are no good police, remember when we were in New York City? We were in Rockefeller Plaza, and there was an officer, and unless he was just like a really great actor and just wanted to act like he was our friend, but it didn't seem that way, because he came over and he talked to us and he wanted more information. And shout out to the Shark. I don't think the Shark's in the chat right now, but he even, after he got done talking to me and Will, he talked to Shark for a while. And again, it seemed like he genuinely wanted to know what we were talking about. Also, when we were in Oklahoma City this year, there was an officer, you should have seen, because, there weren't any cameras, there weren't other officers around. He was actually guarding a church building that apparently had a bunch of break-ins recently. And when he found out what we were there and we were about, man, he just opened up. He was just talking about everything. You know what? When I went down to Oklahoma City, It was when that video had gone viral about maybe what was going on was cobra venom was in the water, which is a stupid psyop to make the truth community look dumb. But that cop had even just watched that video, and he was even talking about that. And, when we were down there for April 19th, which was a couple days later, I mean, I went down there for April 19th, but I got there days early. That was like probably April 17th or something. But April 19th, the day we were there for the main event to educate about the bombing, he came by on his bicycle, he found us, and he wasn't like there to harass us. He was like there to listen to the information. So, again, I'm no big fan of cops, but, and by the way, that guy's story was that he was in the military, and he had recently gotten out of the military because he refused to take the jab, and he was on the verge of getting his retirement. And after getting out of the military, then he became a police officer, which is common. A lot of cops are former military. But I just feel like guys like him, like if the revolution started, I don't think he'd fight against people like us. I think he would join our side. So I won't say that no military and no cops are good people, but they really shouldn't be cops or military because they are serving the authorities that are the problem. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Watch the Water. Yeah. Call the White House? Call the White House. I think I tried to call the White House a long time ago and we couldn't get through to anywhere. I think that's why I don't call the White House very often. I'm guessing it's almost 10 p.m. at the White House right now. I can't imagine that they're taking phone calls. Here, I'll try it out. White House 24/7 phone number. Does that exist? Connect me to Joe. This is the White House Veterans Hotline.
For quality and training purposes, this call may be monitored but will not be recorded.
The White House?
Oh my God, I'm impressed. Can I relay a message to the man in charge? Yeah, I want.
For her to leave a message. Please hold.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line. The office is currently closed. Your comment is important to the president. Please call back between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday through Thursday. Our direct number is 202-456-1111. Until then, you may send an e-message at www.whitehouse.gov/contact. Thank you for your call.
Hey, I thought she said she was sending me the voicemail. I can't believe anybody picked up. I'll call back. The last time I tried to call the White House, I didn't get through to anything. We'll have to do a phone call to the White House. I got to talk to him about the death of Joe's wife and daughter back in 72, and then the death of his son while he was 72, and now the 72-year-old shooter on the Lunar New Year. If the FBI comes to your front door, I've had that before. The FBI came to my house. They came with nothing but intimidation tactics and BS. Yeah, the FBI, man. That's another thing you don't need to be afraid of. The funny thing about the FBI when they came to my house, they literally came to my house August 21st, 18, a date with 47 numerology, which was the anniversary of Agent 47, the movie coming out. And the word agent, of course, equals 47. Should I try to call Robert Luna's office? Maybe it's still open too. I couldn't believe that somebody picked up at the White House. I was just shocked. Wasn't ready for it. It's just like in New York. I blew it when Flava Flav was on the corner. I wish I could go back and handle the Flava Flav moment differently. The guy with the big Star of David chain, had to get him out of there ASAP. I came on too hard. Robert Luna, LA County Sheriff Office. Let's see. Oh my God, the address of the office is 211 West Temple Street? Are you kidding me? How far is the Masonic Lodge from there? I'm sure it's across the street. Remember, 211, the 47th prime, first day on the job, 47 days before the Lunar New Year. Hey, DK Stonewood, see how their area code's 213? I know they still use that one in LA. 1700, right? 1700. Whoops. Modern Freemasonry credited in 1717. The Masonic Temple. The House of the Temple. House of the Temple at the address 1733.
Calling the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, proudly providing a tradition of service since 1850. For English, please press
Look at the G. Robert G. Luna.
Thank you for calling the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, proudly providing a tradition of service since 1850. For English, please press 1.
Para oír esta grabación en español.
If this is a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Otherwise, please listen for the prompt and make your selection at any time during this recording. You may also visit us online at www.lasd.org for additional information. For inmate information, please press 1. For civil process, evictions, or other legal action, please press 2. For media relations or media inquiries, please press 3. For records or report requests, please press 4. For pre-employment, recruitment, or background questions, please press 5. For employment verification of department members, please press 6. For information related to the California concealed weapon process, please press 7. To commend a department member or to file a complaint, please press 8.
That's the one. That's the one.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Hello, you have reached the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Your concerns and information are important to us. Si desea escuchar el mensaje en español, presione el dos. To make a public comment or complaint, please visit lasd.org and click on the Contact Us button. Simply fill out your contact information along with your concern or comment, and a department member will get back to you. For those wishing to speak with a department member, you may either call or visit your local sheriff station and ask to speak with the watch commander. For a list of our patrol stations, including their addresses and phone numbers, please visit www.lasd.org under the Stations button at the top of the screen. All stations have personnel available to serve you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you.
Come on. The option I chose just ends up with getting hung up on? Weak. That guy's voice, though, with all the options, was super official. Robert G. Luna. You know, what's in the middle of the Masonic compass? The big G. The big G. Again, for people not familiar with the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the Masonic compass, the capital G with the pole star, each leg kicked out 23.5 degrees, like how the tropics are at 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south, 47 degrees of separation. Again, this is why, you know, it's just like the whole thing with the Moscow, Idaho. They arrested the killer 47 days later, and the police chief in charge, his name is James Fry, which equals 47. Okay, God, this guy. What's going on?
So why don't you go through this list of people to call? The FBI again, the NSA, and Google headquarters, because you can call the Google headquarters too.
Okay, FBI, NSA, Google headquarters. The thing about calling the FBI is they always hang up on me. It's like they only listen to me for like a minute before they hang up. But
How about the NSA?
I've never called the NSA, so you can try it out.
That's another one. Maybe give some of these big tech platforms, give them an earful.
Wow.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. I love this. I like you telling these people what they need to hear, giving them the message. Because I mean, these are the foot soldiers for the tyranny.
Yeah. I mean, to that one lady's credit, she's just in the operating room, but she's still working for it. So, all right, yeah, we can do a day of phone calls coming up here. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, maybe tomorrow or another day where it's earlier that they'll pick up.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Truth does not exist.
Yeah, you too, man. See you.
Okay. But yeah, again, the Masons in 47, you guys. It's not an accident that they do this. Again, James Fry, again, is the police chief in charge of getting the Moscow, Idaho killer, again, at 1122 King Street. And then they arrest him in Joe Biden's hometown, the first Catholic president since the one that was killed on 1122. And then it was on King Street. And again, the news broke on King Charles's birthday. But James Fry was in charge, and they arrested the guy 47 days later. And again, it broke on King Charles's 74th birthday, the news. Moscow, the way they spell it, like Moscow's 74. And again, the other story that broke that day was the Virginia Cavaliers killings, the football team. Both of those things happened Sunday, March 13th. Sunday, November 13th. But then the news story for both Moscow, Idaho, and Virginia Cavaliers both broke on Monday the 14th, which was King Charles's 74th birthday. And again, he's of Russian ancestry. And the people who fought for King Charles in the English Civil War, Cavaliers, like Virginia's the Cavaliers. Again, it's just just everything, you guys, from the sports games to the news. It's like if you don't know history and you don't see the riddle, you're going to miss what they're doing to you. And you know who spoke in riddles? Another 74 guy, Jesus. Jesus spoke in parables. Both Jesus and parables are 74, like gospel, like cross, like Messiah. He was from Judea. He was technically Jewish, the word we use in English. By the way, the English translation of Jesus is Joshua. Only the 33rd state equals 74 in the most simple cipher, kind of like Jesus on the cross at 33. In this Masonic, Jesuit, Jesus-loving nation. Why would Jesus speak in riddles? Like, what's up with that? Speak plainly. Speak to be understood, son. Son of God. Speak to be understood. I like how in the King James Version he speaks like he's British. Jesus from Britain. Straight Shakespeare. Robert Lunar for the Lunar New Year. His wife's so proud of him. She's like, we're getting the big payola. You're gonna deliver the line so good. Robert, I have so much faith in you on the Lunar New Year. Did you see him today? He's a smooth operator, Robert Luna. Some of these guys who get up in front of the camera after the bullshit, like you can just tell that they know that they are delivering just loads of bullshit and they're worried somebody's going to figure it out. I wish I could be there to just pat him on the shoulder. Breathe easy, man. The Americans are dumb. They'll never figure it out. Just keep lying away. They'll never get it. But not Robert Luna. He wasn't nervous at all. It's like, I am here to make sure that you guys only get the facts. There were 42 shots fired. Oh, God. Anyway. I blew it with the White House. I was just, you guys, I was just shocked that somebody picked up because I have tried to call there a bunch of times and I never got through to anything. So, and I didn't expect somebody to pick up at 10 p.m. It was like, was she on the line waiting for some late night call? She's like, this isn't him. All right. Anyhow, we'll leave it there, you guys. If you guys got here late, rewind to the beginning, because in the beginning I was actually on topic talking about the Antifa ritual. And again, in case you got here late and just want that piece of information, there are a few things to know, but it all started with the killing of Manuel Esteban Paez Tehran, who was protesting the 85-acre Cop City along Interstate 85 in the 85 city Atlanta, Georgia. Again, you learn Gematria. You'll never be fooled by any of this again. They said his nickname was Tortuguita, 118, big death number. If you missed all of our stories we covered on January 18th, it was just nonstop death all day. But he was killed on 118, little turtle. And again, protesting for Manuel on the 21st. The Antifa feds were there. 6 of them arrested on the 21st. And you know what else annoys me about this that I didn't say earlier? Andy Ngo, this little twerp that the media always covers, Andy Ngo's got the details. He's always got the inside details on Antifa. Again, for people who don't know, I went down to the Antifa protest that was the national news story in Portland at the time. And again, it was by the numbers. Portland 116. You know, they were all focused on the protest on January 16th in Portland with Antifa. And I went down there to educate Antifa about Gematria and how their protest was only bringing more attention to Andy Ngo. And I was passing out free copies of my book, and I even offered free copies of the book to the Antifa members. They were too cool for school, though. They didn't want the book. Well, I could tell one of the young guys that was there, who probably wasn't a Fed, but somebody who just got sucked into it, looking for some friends. He was really engaging with me, and then there was this, even though you can't really see Antifa's people's faces because they wear masks, there was this lady who you could see her eyes and her skin, and she was as pale as a ghost. She started screaming, "Shut up, white racist! Shut up, white racist!" at me, and I'm like, white racist? Like, what am I saying that's racist? I'm talking about how you guys are participating in an operation. But, yeah, it was messed up what they did, because this one guy who showed up, his name was Justin. He came out. I met him for the first time. He was the tallest guy who came out to meet me, and he had both my books printed out, and he asked for me to sign them, and I was in the middle of signing his books. And then all of a sudden, Antifa started to accuse him of using the N-word, and he hadn't said anything to him. He was just being cool with me, and some of the Antifa people tried to say something to him. He's like, "Oh, man, I didn't come out here to fight with you guys. I just came out to share knowledge with Zach, and here's his books." And then they all started screaming, "He said the N-word!" And right as they did that, this guy had just shown up who looked like he was a NFL linebacker. He was a Black Lives Matter protester who just showed up. He was like 6'3", probably weighed about 300 pounds. And right away, they just tried to mob this guy. And, you know, I tried to get in the way and break up the fight and keep Justin from getting trampled by the whole crowd. And I did buy him some time, but in buying him some time, I took some bear mace right in the face. But what annoyed me about the whole thing, besides getting bear maced in the face and being blind for over an hour and having to get buckets of cold water dropped over my face in January when it's already cold outside. And if you ever get bear mace, it's not good to pour water on. It makes it burn even more. So, like, I felt like I had molten lava on me for an hour. But what annoyed me is Andy Ngo. I don't know if he was actually there or was it somebody who works for his YouTube page. They were filming the whole thing from across the street, and he had up a video like as fast as I got blinded, and his video was like, "People fighting over my book at Pals in Portland." And it's like, this fucking guy, he has to use me getting bear maced in the face to false market his book when he gets to go on Fox News and CNN, and the news media talks about him all the time, just like he's in the headlines right now. But, and then he also claims to be from Portland, Oregon, and he has a British accent. It's like, come on, man. This guy's not from Portland, Oregon. Nobody from Portland sounds like they're British. So... But yeah, news by the numbers, coast to coast, day after day, from Portland to Atlanta to Half Moon Bay. So, yeah, Seattle. Well, We did all right in Seattle. The last time I went to Seattle, though, they had that guy there that was there to drown me out with his loudspeaker the whole day. That didn't go well. Oh, yeah, the whole doomsday clock, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about starting a new conspiracy theory to see if we can get some traction, because people just don't care about the numbers thing. I'm a flat mooner. The moon is flat. It's amazing how people like stupid conspiracy theories way more than the truth. It's so annoying. Yeah, I'll have to, of course, yeah, we'll live stream about Kobe's death anniversary since I won't be in LA. I do feel bad about not being in LA. But the timing just isn't right. So, yeah, Andy, NGO, exactly, non-governmental organization, British accent from Portland. He's clearly some kind of agent. Because it doesn't even make sense how he doxes all the Antifa people. It's like, how could you possibly dox Antifa people? It's like, how do you find out who they are? They all wear masks. You can't see them. They're all masked up. They show almost no skin. It makes no sense that anybody could be figuring out who they are. Yeah. Yeah. The moon is flat and LeBron's a female. Indeed. Indeed. I'm going to start changing up the content over here. Start talking about some things people actually care about. Oh, man, I thought Zach was a Mossad agent, but now he's talking the truth, man. He said the moon's flat and LeBron's a lady. Been waiting. Well, sadly, that's like, it is sad that I have more haters than people who actually care about the work. That's why any troll comment always has like 500 likes, and any good comment, it's lucky if it even gets 10. But, yeah, all my trolls are like that. Zach's Mossad, man. He's keeping us back. Won't talk about LeBron being a tranny, man. That's what we need to know. He denounces the ice wall. Mr. Scott. I appreciate it, Mr. Scott. But here, since Mr. Scott wasn't here at the beginning. You're the first person to donate, Mr. Scott, because at the beginning of the stream, I asked people not to donate to me during this stream. But you don't have to apologize for anything, Mr. Scott. You haven't been around? Man, I didn't notice that you haven't been around. I think the last time I got a super chat was when you were also here, but sorry, I haven't been around. Been adjusting to civilian life after the military. Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Scott, and you're a reminder that good people are in the military. But again, what I said at the beginning of the stream is there are some people. I was trying to find Ocho from the Ocho's channel, but I can't even find that right now. Ocho from the Ocho had his car taken from him by the state, and that's what he lived in, so it's pretty much his house. And Truth Does Not Exist just had his life sabotaged by the state after being thrown in jail for 60 days. He lost his job and his livelihood and what he had going at his piece of land. But and then I heard Tabari or the Matrix saying that there's two other people that are in our truther sphere that also need help right now, and I don't know who those two other people are. But actually, I just caught wind that King Richard TV is also having problems. So anyway, you guys, if you do want to help out some people and you know those names, Ocho from the Ocho, Truth Vibration Podcast, King Richard TV, save your donations for me and help those people out right now because they're definitely in a tougher spot. I do wish more resources came in for this work, but Unless I write a best-selling book that the New York Times recognizes, which probably is never going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen what I want to happen, but again, there are good people in the community that could use the help a lot more than me right now, so feel free to send your blessings that way. Did I say Truth Does Not Exist? I do mean Truth Vibration Podcast. Since I can't find Ocho's channel, I don't know where it went. Truth Vibration Podcast. If you guys want to go over there and give him a sub, and, you know, see, he's got a moving forward video up. I know he'll persevere. He's a tough guy, but anyway. Let's help him get up to at least 500 subs tonight. There's 400 people in the chat right now. You guys, it's free to subscribe to somebody's channel. Here, I'm gonna link it right now in the live chat. You guys click on that and click sub. Give the guy a like. He's doing great work. He'll teach you how to eat better, be more fit. He'll drop some knowledge. You know, he tries to be humorous. Help lift his spirits. Another great person in the chat, I think he's doing just fine, but he also deserves more subs, is RPM Trey Vietnam. He just dropped in, so. RPM Trey Vietnam, as far as I'm concerned, is the number one gun rights advocate in the history of the world. And the world needs a lot more of that right now, too. So, don't be intimidated by his masks. Great guy. He came out and pounded pavement with us in Oklahoma City. So, he might look scary in his thumbnails, but he's a great guy. Support RPM Trey Vietnam. So, all right, guys. That's it for now. Have a great rest of your evening. If you're in the other part of the world, have a great rest of your day. And, yeah, maybe we'll try the White House again tomorrow. I got to pass on to old Joe that people know what that guy's been up to. Till next time.